back to the Yggdrasil tree.
I think it's time for us to talk about the Yggdrasil tree. Now, Yggdrasil is a world tree. There are many world trees, but Yggdrasil specifically is a world tree connected to Norse mythology. It's found throughout some of the Western European nations in their ancient histories. And by ancient, I mean, post 700-800 AD and onward. But Odin is a major player in Yggdrasil, king of Asgard.
Yeah.
And he's in your bloodline.
Yes.
That's what you told us in our first round. And so now we're finally at Yggdrasil. Why don't you tell us what you've learned about this thing?
So, I had done the principality prayer for Odin because I seen him in my bloodline, my family tree, and, to me, I thought that was strange. Like, why would they put Odin, a mythological being, in our family tree? To me, that was just weird. I found that weird, but now I understand. So I had done that. So I kind of felt like I had dealt with it, Well, then you had talked about it during service, and Wes looks at me and goes, "You need to deal with that." And I was like, yeah. I didn't know that there was a tree associated with it or a bloodline with it, So I go in on Wednesday for my coaching, and I'm asked about it.
So this is very recent.
Very
because
recent.
I talked about that in the last series we did it. As of this recording, at Bride Ministries Church, and we got to Yggdrasil towards the latter part of the pre-Adamic series.
Yes.
So this is new.
Very.
All right, talk to me.
So she was like, "So, what'd you think about the Yggdrasil tree?" And I was like, "About that." I wanted to bring that up. But the night before, I had a dream. I kept being chased by this really big red snake. And the snake kept trying to get me. It kept trying to kill me, but it could not. And then Wes said, "Well, I'm gonna go hunt and kill that snake." And so it was just a reoccurring, the snake kept coming after me, kept failing, kept coming after me, kept failing. So I was telling my coach about that, and she's like, "Wait a second, there's a snake associated with that tree." And sure enough, she looked it up, and it was a red snake with the tree. She's like, "Okay, we're going there." So we went there, and we're going through the prayer. My tree was hidden within that tree. My family tree was inside of that tree. So it was like trees inside of trees inside of trees that were being held in there. And then my living stones that were removed from me were in that tree as well. And they gave me counterfeit. So through all of that, I was able to get all of that back. The trees, my family trees that was in there, my tree.
You mean, and by my tree, what you mean is tree of righteousness.
My tree of righteousness.
Which exists in the spirit world.
Yes.
Okay, it's not a little oak that's sitting in front of your house.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, just for the audience. I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So all of the stuff that was hijacked from me and stolen from and my family.
My goodness.
Was being hidden in that tree, and it got revealed. And then, the whole thing with Thor and lightning and thunder. And so tying in with the lightning strike incident that I had, it all just started to unravel and make a little bit more sense.
Goodness. So you definitely got some freedom from Yggdrasil.
Oh, yes.
How'd you feel after that?
Oh, I felt such a weight. Sometimes you don't even know the weight that you're carrying around until it's gone.
Goodness.
And I felt so much freedom after that prayer, and the freedom, and then also a little bit more understanding. It was just another piece of the puzzle of my story, of my journey. And so more that got revealed and exposed.
So you were in bondage, we'll call it that, to Pleiadian abductions. And that really began to taper off as the technology was coming out, and then ultimately stopped.
Yes.
And that was also linked to your heritage in the Yggdrasil tree, which was generational. And you also recently got free of that. There's so much in the spirit world holding people captive and in bondage. One of the worst is Babylon.
Yes.
Did you have any problem with spiritual?
Actually, come to find out that I was deceived, well, my spirit deceived into helping with building Babylon.
Your human spirit was deceived into helping build Babylon. Now, when you say that, is this recently, or are we talking about in more of an ancient,
Ancient.
pre-Adamic?
Yes.
Here we go again. So, go on.
And so Babylon was hijacking because I was in partnership with it. So I was having, plus, to my family also in alignment with and contracts with Babylon. And so my stuff was being stolen from me. All of my gifts, my ruler was in there.
And by ruler, it's so funny because we start talking shop, right? Because we're bride tribe, so we just have all these terms that we, people that stumble on this podcast, we're like, what? Who rules you? And it's like, hold on, let's explain. So, for those of you that are following what she's saying, essentially in layman's English, she's suggesting that her human spirit, not her soul and body that I'm sitting in front of today, but her actual human spirit created by Jesus, which pre-existed her conception, was involved in building Babylon before God put Adam in the garden. And this opens up on the whole pre-Adamic reality and what it meant for her specifically. And by the term ruler, she's referring to what we would call a facet of the human spirit. Basically, it's kind of like what happens when you pass white light through a prism. It'll come out of the other side of that prism in a cascade of colors: red, green, blue, purple, yellow, orange, and those are all contained by the white light. But you can look at them as fractals, and so the human spirit has that aspect, and they map to redemptive gifts in Romans 12. Prophet, teacher, exhorter, ruler, servant, giver, and mercy. Those are facets or fractals of the human spirit. And that's what she is saying was in bondage to Babylon. Her ruler.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then there was a lot of deliverance that took place with getting stuff back from Babylon, some of my inheritance that was there. My daughter, the twin, as well. So, yeah.
Goodness. It's amazing how complex the tangle is that people have to overcome at this season in world history.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal idea. We thought our biggest problem was genetically modified potatoes, but it's not.
No.
Or peanuts. The peanut allergy for some people is really tough.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about the aspect of your story that deals with the genetic modification. So we talked about a lot having to do with the technology now and how they embedded the technology. But what about the genetic modification, the engineering for certain gifts, talents, and abilities? And where do you see that playing in some of the memories you have recovered, going back to childhood and then moving forward?
A lot of it is I have abilities to be able to just know things, and also to like see. I'll get pictures of things in my head that just get dropped to me, that stuff I should not know or don't really even need to know, but I will. So it's almost like what they would call like a psychic. It's very strong. With that also, I have a very high pain tolerance. And also my personality. I can kind of get along with anybody, or I'll also not put up with anything. So it's kind of, I could kind of blend in anywhere that I am put.
And you think they were engineering for that?
Yes. And also, too, with being able to withstand certain physical pain.
And that was, do you think that was for the trafficking agenda they had for you?
Yes. And then I also do know there is super soldier programming in there that we have not completely touched on quite yet.
Well,